Hello there, and welcome to another episode of the Matchday Supplements. Crisandro, of course, bringing you another video, another review along. This one is Watford versus Spurs. So this is going to be our last friendly before the season starts next week. And of course, this last friendly also coincides with England playing as well in the Nations League. So a few of our players are not going to be available. But yeah, I mean, tried to get it on my TV, but it doesn't seem to be working. And I don't know if it's a flash issue thing, so it's on my baby laptop at the moment, as you can see. Getting ready for the big kickoff. Z Cars and Reynolds playing. And yeah, so we shall see what happens. There's going to be an interesting team lineup as well, which I can show you now. And that is, well, Joe Hart will be starting that one. Gazaniga is on the bench. Larissa, I imagine, is away with France, so that should be good. And then Aurier at right back. Aurier at right back, that should be good. Sanchez and Carter Vickers are the middle players. It's got to break off now because we're doing the Black Lives Matter kneeling, which is obviously more important as well. And yeah, so and then we also got Harvey White there in the middle alongside Ndombele, who's actually getting a start, which is good to see. And the match is going to be a 4-2-3-1 really, with Dele, Lamela, and Lucas all supporting Son up front, who's going to be the captain. So let's see what happens. Game's kicked off. I'll speak to you at half time. Bloody hell! It's 2-0 to Watford at half time, and it's crazy. Really, we have not been in this game at all. We are literally losing the midfield battle. It kind of shows when you don't actually have a dedicated DM. Like we saw in the last half of the second half of last season. When we have nobody challenging in the middle, we struggle, and that is literally what we've got. I mean, we haven't got Højbjerg; he's away with Denmark. So our middle at the moment is Harvey White and Ndombele, and neither of those are proper defensive midfielders. But at least Harvey White's coming back to collect the ball from defence and try and start something, whereas Ndombele is more focused on going forward. So we are struggling in that sense. But you have to hand it to Watford. They've done very well. They played very well in that first half. Their goals, though, blimey, it's kind of strange. Their first goal, Domingos Quina, picked the ball up from uh, just inside our half, carries it down, and then unleashes a shot from 25 yards. You think it's far enough out for Joe Hart to see it, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he was probably beaten by the pace of it because it was a fierce strike. But I can't help thinking that maybe if he reacted quicker, who knows what will happen. But I can't really blame him for that one. I'd say it was just more of a good strike than it was um, uh, uh, a bad goalkeeping. And then their second goal, 20 minutes later, from a penalty. In fact, I think it was Andre Gray who turned Dennis Sirkin in the area. Right, they were both running onto it, and it looks like Sirkin kind of pulled him back. Touch and go whether the pullback happened outside of the penalty area, but as the momentum carried into the penalty area, obviously the referee was going to give a penalty for that one. So and then up stepped Andre Gray to slot it in, and that was 7 minutes before half time. But we had a couple of chances ourselves. We've it's all half chances really, although the keeper has been made to work a couple of times, and one of those being a shot from Davinson Sanchez after a good bit of industry by Son down the left hand side. Sanchez came in, unleashed a fantastic shot, and it was saved by the keeper down to his right. And yeah, that's kind of how it is at the moment. Haven't really had a strong enough go at Watford in that first half, but we shall see who we can change, who we can bring on for the second half. Although the subs bench is very, very young. I mean, I think the only striking option we have there is Dane Scarlett, who's our 16-year-old. So that should be interesting. And also we've got Jack Clark there as well, who's not much older at 19. So there's going to be it'll be the youth that comes out and helps us really in the second half, if at all that happens. But yeah, at the moment we haven't really got going. But let's see what happens in the second half. Half time here. Well, half time there, say at Vicarage Road. It's Watford 2, Spurs 0. So there it is. It finished 2-1 in the end. We did get a goal back. Lovely penalty from Son after Lamela was upended in the area. That penalty came with 10 minutes to go, and before that, that second half was probably worse than the first. We couldn't get going. We brought on a few people. I mean, we did bring on Juan Foyt to play as left back in place of Serkin, whose confidence may have been shot by giving away the penalty in the first half. But in all honesty, it could have been Watford that could have extended their lead. Andre Gray had a great chance to make it three. Uh, Lovely quick passing, and then he was pretty much through on goal with Carter Vickers on one side and Sanchez on the other. He out sprinted both, and then somehow managed to poke his shot wide of the goal, wide of Gazaniga. And yeah, that was. I mean, Watford. You have to say they deserve their victory really, because we just didn't get going. We were just very very bitty. Dele Alli's passing was not really on point. Lamela control was not really on point either throughout most of that second half, and we just kind of it just kind of looked like hard to describe really. It shows that we had 16 players missing from this squad, because most of them are around the world and playing for internationals. England will be playing in a couple of hours, in about 10 minutes time anyway, so most of our players will be there. And it is just kind of a really really slow performance in the end. We did get the goal back, as I said, through Sonny, and we had a couple of half chances ourselves, but none really tested the keeper as such. But that's kind of how it's finished. 2-1. So our preseason ends in a defeat. Although there's 3 wins and a defeat in this the series of preseason games. So I'd say we were in good shape. When you have 16 players missing from the squad, I suppose it will kind of take its toll, and the cohesion will not be there as you'd expect. So we shall see what happens next week when we take on Everton in the league game on next Sunday. It should be it should be an interesting one. Everton have bought a couple of decent players, as you know. They brought Alan, the Brazilian winger from Napoli. So they've been splashing the cash a bit. We've still got until middle of October to freshen up our squad, so we should see what happens. But at the moment, would you say you're happy with the squad as it is going into next week's curtain raiser at home to Everton? Let us know. But yeah, it was a very very bad end to the friendly series, but I'd say we're in really relatively good shape. We shall see what happens. Next week, it's Spurs against Everton in the Premier League. But also, don't forget, Sunday, tomorrow, the women also take a bow in their second season in the Women's Super League when they take on West Ham United. That will be a big game. That will be live on the FA Player if you want to watch that. Of course, the fans won't be allowed into the Hive, but yeah, it will be live on the FA Player. So everyone watch that, support the girls, and let's get 3 points in that game as well. So yeah, uh, I'm gonna go and get myself a coffee because I need it after that game. But you all take care. Come on, you Spurs. See you next week.